Hey, what's up, guys? How are you all doing? Another day starting. Let's get to work. So, here talking to you all once again, I'm going to take the opportunity to tell you a little story. Do you guys like stories? Do you want to know how I started with this here? Look, this huge room that's our workshop today. This wasn't a workshop, not even close. Actually, let me sit down here for a bit. I've been doing this kind of thing here for as long as I can remember, like since I was a kid, like since I was 6 years old. I already had a little cubicle like this, a separate room from the house where I did my tinkering. The first one I made when I was really little, I think I was about 6, I don't remember, or 7, I don't know anyway. I was little. I made it out of almost anything, from coconut leaves, and it was around Easter. And there's even a funny story, because I built that thing and a friend of mine helped me. And we even made a floor, just so you have an idea. Of course, there was no budget at all to do this. So we made it out of coconut leaves and bamboo, and the floor we made out of clay. So I remember it was a Sunday. I grabbed a stove lid. Back then, stoves had an iron lid. I took that lid and filled it with dirt. I took it over there, mixed that stuff, and started making the floor. I did the whole floor myself. I think it must have had that. He was about this size, maybe a bit smaller. Then we filled that thing with dirt and made the floor. And then what happened? After building, I let it dry for a day and then checked it. The cows decided, I decided to go in there. Since it was inside the bird, I was invading their place. They decided to go into my room and it was full of cow hoof prints inside. But we stayed in there a long time. I remember what I used to do there. It was mostly taking apart remote control cars, which I didn't really have either, just broken cars. I used to remove the motor from tape players, connect it to a battery, and hook up things like a light bulb. So it wasn't like playing house, it was more like I liked to take things apart and build something else. When I needed or wanted a different toy, I would make it with the stuff I had there. Then after that we moved here, where we live today. Not in this house we're in now, but yeah. It was in a different old house, the one I showed you before on another day. Let me open this to make it better for us. So we stayed there for a while. And here I made several of these, but this is where I left this tree. I came upstairs and didn't bring the key. Very smart. Is that so really? I left the key downstairs, so I need to get it. Anyway, so I made several here. I made one. Usually it was in the old pots here. Then I would nail up a space that was left over there and build my spot so I could do my tinkering. I think it was 2 or 3. There was one that even had a ladder, like those ladders we make to climb up to a tree house so we could get to it. But it was really cool. So I made those. Then in the end I found this place where it is now, right? Oh, there was one before. There was one before with bamboo wire too. Bamboo and coconut leaf. Under a tree. What's the name of that thing? Like a tree over there at the bottom. We built it there and it was the same setup as the other one. Dirt floor, coconut leaves on the roof. But I think I had some pieces of Eternit, so I put them in some places for protection. The walls were made of bamboo. Yeah, we stayed there for quite a while. There was no electricity either. We used to work on things. Because of batteries, there were a lot of batteries, a box full of old batteries. So every time I kept searching to see if I could find any battery that still worked in there so I could use it. Want to see? Let me show you the place where it was. Over there. Look, do you see that thing over there? I mean, it was down there near that banana tree right there. And there, I stayed there for quite a while. Then finally we went up there and set that up. I used to call it a lab, because that's where I took things apart and fixed them, did a kind of reverse engineering. Just so you have an idea, I had so much stuff in there, so much that the day I decided to throw it away. I think I must have taken almost a truckload of stuff out of there. It was about 4 or 5 wheelbarrows full of stuff at least. And what was that? Old TVs, old DVDs, pieces of computers, a lot of things that break down. People already knew it was with me since they sent it to me, so I worked on it. Not that I would fix it and give it back, no. I would take it just to take parts from it. Where is it? Where did I leave that key? There. It's right there. I left it. So, without the key, there's no way to get in. So I made that move right there. In that lab, which was the last one, I did a lot of things like robots, prosthetics, a bunch of stuff. That was for the science fair. I won some science fairs, some things like that. It was a really cool time. There was even a science fair where I did really well. They gave me a robotics course and I spent about a year and a half studying robotics, and I wasn't even old enough to go to college. I was in my first year of high school. And I would go to Vitoria, the state capital, every week just to take this course. So I would take the course, go back home every week, and keep studying as usual. But this is something that worked really well when I was a kid, you know. There wasn't much to do, so it was something cool. Nowadays, conversations are more complicated than that. I went to study computer engineering so I could keep working on robots, you know? Building robots, things like that. But I realized it's not that simple. My makeshift solutions aren't enough to build a robot. Who knows, maybe someday. Never say never, right? Let me turn these things on here. Ah, look at that. Let me open the window, it's better that way. That's when I created the channel. I started the channel and nearly gave up on this place. I wasn't going to let this place go to waste, but I wasn't inventing much anymore. There are still some inventions up there, including a robot I won from the robotics course. There are some things here, a little car, a spinner, and other stuff. Manual do Mundo experiment. If you know the Manual do Mundo channel, I made this when the video was released. I've been watching Manual do Mundo since Manual do Mundo has existed, since the very beginning. So, open here, open here. When the knife videos became popular on the channel. I didn't plan to be a knife maker. I made knives because I wanted one but couldn't afford to buy it. So I kept making them and realized that's really the path we have to follow. Here I am making knives. Leave the light on. I'm here turning this place into a workshop, adapting what used to be a robotics lab into a cutlery workshop. What's working out? And I'm enjoying it. I like this part of building things, not like building a house from scratch. I've worked as a helper before and also as a bricklayer. But I like the field, turning something that wasn't supposed to be into what you want, you know? So, look here, how cool, I made this yesterday. It will also be on video on the channel. It's a cable clamp. For those who don't know, it's a thing for you to put here. You put the cable, the knife in here, but it would be better if I had 2 hands to do this. I'll try harder since things have improved. There are some samples where this top part stays fixed even when you push the knife, but I didn't do it that way. I ended up messing up here and didn't do it like this. Press it just like a vise. But it's made specifically for handles. So our knife is fixed here, firm on the promises. There. Alright, it's here firm. I can sand the handle here, then I take and turn this thing, loosen it here, then I can spin the knife, put it in this position like this. Now I go and tighten it again, it's firm again, then I go and put it here. I sand here what I want, do the finishing touches anyway. It's a vise made specifically for making knife handles, but it's kind of limited. I made this here with a fire extinguisher, so it ended up this size here. But if I have a knife that's wider than this space here from the extinguisher, wider than this here, it won't fit inside. So it's for making thinner knives, but there's actually quite a bit of space here. You can make some pretty big knives with it. Oh, I forgot it was a lot of work. Yeah, it was. Man, I was working on this until almost 9 post-meridium last night. Then I can take it out here. Yeah, thank you. This wide knife fits easily with extra space. Today I have other things to do. I'll work on the axe and there are some cool things. I know this took a lot of work to weld. I'm slowly getting better at welding. My father is at work and so am I. Oh, this grinder here. I haven't even shown it to you guys. It's a grinder made from a washing machine motor. Let me turn it on. It's really cool. It turned out really well centered. It's not knocking everything off the table. I liked how this thing turned out too. If you'd like more stories, let me know in the comments what topics interest you. Sorry that sometimes I get tangled up with my words. I spend a long time thinking before I speak. Sometimes I'm like that. I don't think that quickly in the morning, right when I wake up. See you in the next video. I'm out.